Welcome to Ill-Equipped History, where two nerds tell you about history, even though we are very ill-equipped to do so. I'm Morgan, joined by my co-host and best friend, Emileigh.
Hi!
Hello. I feel like it's been a month since I've seen your beautiful face.
I know. I miss you so much. But just a few days.
We're going on a girl trip.
Girl trip.
Actually, when this episode comes out, we will be on the plane.
Oh my God, if you're listening in the morning, we will be flying
to Corey. We're coming for you, Corey.
I'm gonna hug her so hard. Oh my God.
We're gonna crush her bones.
We will be like a pile of girls on the airport floor, just like,
just five of us, just like,
well, that's if I make it there. I've been struggling for life recently. So hard. So ever since I got that stupid poison ivy, it's just been downhill. Truly.
Oh no.
So I'm literally now covered in scars from the poison ivy. Well, my son asked me the other day why I have a K on my knee. It's from poison ivy. I'm like, well, I'm glad it looks like a K. Then while I was in Florida, I got light sun poisoning because I didn't know antibiotics and steroids increase your chances of burning. I had no idea. I'm not a burner, so I don't know these things. Then I got home and I got a sty, so I look like Forrest Whitaker for a week. And then I smacked a saddleback caterpillar and it stung the shit out of my hand. And then I thought, this was all within 2 weeks, and then I thought, a group of us thought it'd be a good idea to go paddling on Saturday. And I swear we looked at the radar. I'm going to call it the LIDAR from now on, because that storm rolled in so fast. We had to we found a random cornfield, pulled off onto a concrete slab, and we had to make a makeshift shelter out of our paddle boards. I had to ratchet strap paddle boards together, and we were hunkered down, and the thunder and lightning was so bad the ground was shaking. And here we are in bathing suits, laying in the mud like we're in an episode of Survivor, trying to not die. We called every husband we had, and none of them could get to us.
Oh no.
Not a single one of them. Nick said the only boat he had that could get to us was the aluminum boat. He's like, I will not be getting in the aluminum boat in a thunder and lightning storm. I love you. Just don't die out there.
Yeah. How scary.
So bad. And then we kept saying, man, we really wish the farmer of this cornfield would come and check on his crops real quick, right? And see 4 girls just stranded, right? Tell me why it cleared up enough where we're like, we're going to make a run for it, a paddle for it. And I was the last one on my paddle, so I was helping everyone get on their rafts, sent everyone off. They're already pretty far down. I get on mine and I start paddling to catch up, and I turn around and that farmer was just pulled up in his freaking truck. I swear I could have made eye contact with him. I was like, 5 minutes, and we had waited 5 more minutes. We had to paddle another hour and a half.
Oh no.
In the rain.
Oh no.
We were out there for 5 hours.
Oh my God. That is quite a calamity adventure.
Yeah. I'm glad we made it.
Me too.
All of us came back to Nancy's. We took showers and put on dry clothes, and my son was like, do you want to go swimming? And all of us were like, no. No, we don't. Thanks. No, thanks.
We're good.
We're good.
I was on a beach while they were having this adventure. Some friends and I went to the Gulf. It's a place called Dauphin Island. It's pretty small. It's very, very tiny, but it's off Mobile. And it was hot AF and humid, like literally like water and sweat, just like water falling down my legs. Humid. But and the walk to, I will say, this was all of our first times going to this beach that we had gone to, and there's a couple public beaches. So we pull up and we can't see the beach from the parking lot because there's big dunes.
Right.
So apparently, like years and years and years ago, when they built like the parking lot and the pier and whatever, it was overlooking the water. But over time, the water has receded.
Right.
So now it's just like grassland and more dunes. So, and we were prepared for like a full day. So we had like canopy tents and a wagon and very heavy coolers with drinks. And it was like a mile to the actual beach from the parking lot. And our wagon was not built for sand. So we were like, and it was so hot. It was like 100 degrees outside with like 80% humidity because there was no ocean breeze coming from the ocean. And we were all dying, like lugging like hundreds of pounds of supplies to the beach. Like we were all cussing each other out and yelling and hot. And we had brought our dogs too. So we were also like keeping an eye on our dogs. Oh my God. Like we were very happy we finally made it. But it took us like almost an hour just to walk from our car to the actual like
so we were both dying
a little bit.
Both dying. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But once we got set up
together,
yes,
it was fine. Yes.
Once we got set, it was wonderful, and actually, like getting back was way easier because most of the cooler supplies were in our bellies. Right. Because we had eaten most of the food and drank almost everything that was in the cooler. And we had a new plan. There was a pier that like came out.
Yeah.
And we just decided to like literally carry everything up the stairs to the pier and then roll. And that was so much easier than dragging it through loose sand. So
yes.
Yeah, that was
what misadventures, what calamities we've had. It's like, can we,
seriously.
And what's bad is on the way to that paddle thing, I was like, I'm telling you, every year there is something that goes wrong, but I feel like we've gotten it together. Because, like, last year was fine and the year before that. And I was like, oh, we've just figured out the groove. Because, like, one year we forgot our paddles. It was a whole thing. Like, one year we flipped the canoe. It was a lot. And I was like, maybe we just found our stride. No, it saved up for a couple of years and then it hit at one time.
I was literally telling the friends that I was with, like, something happens, like, every year on this canoe trip, and this is this year's cursed misadventure.
It's absolutely cursed. One year I was, like, 6-7 months pregnant?
Yeah.
And miserable. I mean, I was okay, but not that great.
I think I've only made it to, like, one canoe trip.
1 or 2. We actually also had a pregnant lady with us this time, too, so it was great.
Everything is great.
Fine. Everything's fine. Well. I'm glad we caught up.
Yes. We shared our adventures and whatnot. Yeah. We've been talking about water, and today's episode does have something to do with the ocean and water. So, we're on track.
Do tell.
Yes. Yeah. So we are going to go ahead and start with our skit. Woo! A couple is having their morning breakfast. The husband is reading the newspaper while the wife is finishing her coffee. My dear, do you remember that author who died a few years ago? Ernest Hemingway?
Who could forget? As soon as his biography came out, I devoured it. Why?
his brother, the one who wrote the book, has made his own country.
What? His own country?
Yes, an island off of Jamaica. It has its own flag and money. Apparently he's president too.
Oh, wow. This sounds completely absurd. Are you sure you're not reading one of those tabloids?
Dear, this is the Washington Post. I'd say they're trustworthy.
Oh. Okay.
So we've got kind of a wacky tale today.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Today we are talking about Leicester Hemingway, the younger brother of Ernest Hemingway, the world-renowned author.
Okay.
And how he made his own country. That's going to be probably the majority of today's episode.
You've been wanting to talk about this one for a long time. I remember you mentioning it like when we first started the pod, right?
Maybe I forgot about it because I
swear we've mentioned this before.
We may have. Maybe we've come across it in like other things, but
Maybe.
This is like my first like deep dive into it.
Okay.
And I stumbled upon it like just kind of scrolling because my first couple things I was trying to research, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. It's not really interesting. And I just couldn't get into it. And then I was like, okay, I need something wacky. I'm in the mood for something wacky. And I came across this. I was like, this is pretty wacky.
That's pretty wacky. I feel like we've talked about it, but it's been so long, I don't remember in what context it was. But it was like a fleeting sentence. Like, oh, he made his own thing. We'll talk about that sometime. And then 2 years later, here we are. So.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Leicester. I'll probably just call him Les. Also, his name is spelled very complicated. It's spelled like the town or city in England. It's Leicester, but it's pronounced Leicester.
Looks like
Leicester.
Leicester. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, it's Leicester.
Okay.
He was born on April 1st, which when I read that, I was like, okay.
He would be.
He would be. April 1st, 1915 in Oak Park, Illinois. His mother was Grace Hall, who's a former opera singer, and his father was Clarence Hemingway, a doctor.
Okay.
He was the youngest of 6 siblings. Marceline was the oldest child and oldest daughter. Then there's Ernest, Ursula, Madeline, and Carol. The oldest 4 were very much older than Leicester. Mm-hmm. Ernest was 16 years older than Leicester.
Oh. So that means his eldest sister was probably 17, 18 years older.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, the sisters don't really come back up, but it seems like Ernest and Leicester, despite their very large age gap, did get pretty close. Okay. And Les absolutely adored Ernest. I mean, like, when Les was getting older, Ernest had fought in World War I and had returned. And he was a war hero. And, you know, of course, a little guy is going to look up to his older war hero brother.
Of course.
Attached to him by the hip. And apparently Ernest gave Leicester the nickname Lester the Pester.
I love that.
And that eventually just turned into the Pest. But it did seem like they were very affectionate to each other. They were very close. And we won't talk a whole lot about Ernest. I think he definitely deserves his own episode because,
absolutely,
he's such a famous author. I didn't get to go because no one else wanted to go with me. But when I went to Key West like 10 years ago, like Ernest Hemingway has a museum that was like one of his old houses. Have you seen it? Or
my parents have gone, and they didn't tell me a whole lot about it. They just told me that like there are still like 6-toed cats or something like that. The cats have like a deformity or they have an extra toe on each of their paws. Mm-hmm. And they also told me that an iguana fell on someone out of a tree there. It like fell on his head. He screamed like a little girl and everyone thought it was funny. I would have too though. But that's it. Other than that, they were just like, it's really cool. You should go. And I'm like, okay, like I want to.
Key West is pretty far away.
Pretty far.
Later on, Les would be described as, quote, large spirited man with a zany streak.
Okay.
Very, very silly guy. Unfortunately, when Lester was 13, his father, Clarence, died in 1928 by suicide. Due to failing health and financial difficulties. He had made some investment, real estate investments, and they fell through. Right. And so that happened. But it seems like he made my sources didn't really dwell on this event.
Right.
It seems like Ernest found more support Lester found more support through Ernest.
Yeah.
When Les was a teenager, he built a boat.
Okay.
And he and a friend sailed from Alabama to Key West through storms.
In a homemade boat?
Yes. Because he wanted to go visit Ernest, who was living in Key West at the time, and he just built a boat and made it all the way from the coast of Alabama to Key West.
What a maniac. I love him.
And apparently when Les got there, Ernest said, quote, she looks awfully good for anything built by a Hemingway. So Ernest was pretty surprised too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So that's really all I have about Lester's early life. And then we're going to get into more of his adult life and career. I could not find anything about this woman. So I found him just in throwaway sources or throwaway lines in my sources. Mm-hmm. He did marry a woman named Patricia Shedd. I could not find when they married. I could not find for how long they were married. They were married long enough to have 2 sons, Peter and Jake.
Okay.
I literally had to read his obituary to find out their names.
Wow.
There's nothing about them. Every time I try to look up his first marriage, only stuff about Ernest showed up. Huh. So I guess I kind of assume that this was before World War II.
Okay.
During World War II, Les was a reporter with the Stars and Stripes newspaper, and he went to Europe, reported on the war, all of that, like his brother. Ernest was also over there. Eventually, after the war, Les ended up moving to Florida. He married his second wife, Doris Mae Dunning, and they had 2 daughters, Anne and Hillary.
The boys were still alive.
Yes.
Okay, they were just elsewhere with the first wife.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he had custody of his sons.
Okay.
They're mentioned in his obituary, but I couldn't find anything about them having a relationship. They may have. It just wasn't reported on. His daughters didn't really say anything about it in interviews that I read.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
While the girls were younger, it seemed like Les would buy boats and fix them up, and they would live on the boats while he fixed them up, and then he would sell them, and then he would buy another boat, and they would live on the boat while he fixed it, and would sell it. And that was kind of how he made his living for a while. So they lived on the water for years.
This is Nick's dream.
Lester did notice that he wanted to be a writer. Because, again, he looked up to Ernest so much, but it was very difficult for Lester to come into his own writing career in Ernest's shadow. While Les was still in high school, Ernest wrote A Farewell to Arms, and it was being made into a movie while Lester was in high school. And when he started writing for the Chicago Daily News, Ernest was writing articles about the Spanish Civil War before World War II, I believe, and was being paid very well for it. And Lester actually wrote his own novel called The Sound of Trumpets in 1953, but that was sandwiched in between Ernest publishing The Old Man and the Sea and winning a Nobel Prize in Literature.
Oh, he can't have his moment. And it's not Ernest's fault.
No, it's not. And I will say, I think I mentioned it later, but Leicester never seemed to, like, resent his brother for his writing career. It seemed like, I mean, again, he looked up to Ernest so much, and he was very proud of his brother for his accomplishments.
Yeah.
It seems like also Leicester just wasn't as good of a writer as Ernest was. Like, his novel, it was based on his own experiences during World War II, and it didn't get great reviews. Like, it just, there was problems with the writing. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
But Leicester did have his big break. So, unfortunately, Ernest did commit suicide.
Yeah.
In 1962. And Leicester wrote a biography about Ernest called My Brother Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah.
And this popped off.
Yeah.
So Playboy magazine actually paid Les the equivalent of $160,000 in today's money for the serialization rights to the biography.
Wow.
I know, Playboy magazine.
That's weird.
I know. And it became a New York Times best-selling novel or biography.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was amazing. And people who had, I didn't get a chance to read the book, but people who reviewed it clearly, it's clear through his writing that Leicester adored Ernest, looked up to him immensely, saw him as a hero. Okay, so now we're going to get into New Atlantis.
Oh, God. That's what he named it?
That's what he named it.
Oh, no.
So according to his daughter Hilary, Les got the idea of New Atlantis after reading National Geographic articles about coral reefs becoming islands as a kid, and later helping the Jamaican government with a fishing survey. So at some point they had, like, he was helping Jamaica. He was a really big fisherman.
Okay.
Was really, like, trying to help the Jamaican fishing industry. And he also was working on trying to set up some, like, conservation programs, some research programs for the fishing industry in Jamaica.
Right. Yeah.
So originally, Leicester was like, this would be a pretty cool book to write about, like, forming an island. Then he was like, what if I just do it in real life?
Like, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do it.
And not just, like, forming an island, but his own country. He was like, I will form my own nation.
I relate to this so much. This is the toxic trait I have of, it can't be that hard. Yeah. I could do that myself.
And honestly, it wasn't that hard.
It wasn't? Of course it wasn't. Oh, my God.
Well, wait till you hear about what this country was.
Oh, jeez.
So he got the money for this endeavor from the sales from his biography.
Okay.
So he goes a few miles southwest of Jamaica, where it's international waters. He got a bunch of metal scraps, engine blocks, train wheels, axles, piled them up into this very shallow part of the ocean, and put a raft on top of it. And that's his island.
What is he... Why?
Because he wanted to.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
There are some reasons, but
okay.
This was a very, very shallow part. I don't know how he found it, but it was only in about 50 feet of water. But his daughter Hilary called this a, quote, environmental disaster zone.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So his justification for the island, apparently in 1856, the U.S. made into law the Guano Islands Act, which allowed U.S. citizens to, quote, take possession on behalf of the U.S. government of any island, rock, or key on which a guano deposit was found. Because, like, bird fertilizer was really big and good for, it was guano, so it was really really important. And so this was kind of a way for the U.S. to be like, yes, you can settle like uninhabited islands that have guano deposits for the U.S.
Wait, the U.S. can just say that? They're like, we're just going to take parts of other people's countries if it's uninhabited just because?
Because there's guano on it?
Because we said we can?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. does that a lot, as we talked about.
This is one of those those moments where it's like, oh, I'm not feeling very patriotic, and then it goes away. Okay.
Yeah, it's reminded me of the Hawaii and the Banana Republics episodes.
Yes.
Apparently, Les told the Washington Post in 1964, quote, "There's no law that says you can't start your own country."
There's no law that says you can't start your own country. I mean, is he wrong?
No, he's not wrong.
I hate that he's not wrong. I don't hate it. I'm just confused by this whole endeavor.
So he has this raft.
Right.
And apparently I saw in several sources that it only had bird poop on it after he planted the island there. But once a bird pooped on it, he claimed half of the island for the United States, and the other half of the island was New Atlantis. This was a 6 by 12 raft. 6 by 12 foot raft. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Trying to get a visual. Okay, that wall is 8 feet tall. What the fuck? What the fuck? What is happening?
After he names his island New Atlantis,
right,
he declared himself an honorary citizen of New Atlantis because he didn't want to lose his U.S. citizenship.
Got you.
But he declared that he could hold office but could not vote.
But who was going to vote for him?
You'll see.
Okay.
His wife, Doris, was named First Lady, and she actually made the flag. I meant to put a flag.
Oh, I would love to see this flag on this tiny raft held up by an engine block. Are there pictures of this island?
I couldn't really find any. Okay, here's the flag. It's not a bad flag. Here, I'll put the under the picture of his his full family. It's pretty simple. No, there's not any pictures of it, unfortunately.
Damn, what a loss.
I know. So Doris made the flag out of sailcloth, and his daughters were also named ladies of his nation.
Oh, it's a cool flag.
Yeah.
Good on her.
He gathered some people, like 8 people, who were also British nationals. He just went to Jamaica and grabbed 8 people who were also British citizens and were like, you guys can hold dual citizenship with my country. And are like, okay.
Why are we doing this?
I'll get into some of his motivations later. But
okay.
It's most of his motivation was for shits and giggles.
Literally for funsies.
Yeah. You want to know what his currency was?
Oh, God. Is it seashells?
Basically. So, the currency of New Atlantis was the scruple, which was...
Scruple?
Scruple. Because rich people should have many scruples.
Sorry, what the fuck is a scruple?
So a scruple was 100 New Atlantean cents or 50 US cents. The currency was beach detritus, basically. A shark's tooth was 100 cents or a scruple. A fish hook was 50 cents or half a scruple. And a broken barrel stave was 10 cents or a tenth of a scruple.
What is happening? right now. What
I told you, it's wacky.
I keep forgetting to breathe because I'm flabbergasted. I'm like just sitting here trying to mull over what is happening and what this would look like standing on freaking engine blocks next to a raft on top of this mound exchanging. Like, I know that's probably not what happened, but like I'm putting it all together on this tiny island.
If it helps, no one lived on the island. If that helps your brain a little bit.
I'm sure they didn't. I'm still imagining them standing on it and just being like, I'll give you 8 scruples for that shirt.
It gets wackier.
Okay.
So the first session of the Congress of New Atlantis was held on February 2nd, 1965 at 5:30 a.m.
That's too early.
The notes of which are on stationery from the Mimosa Lodge in Kingston, Jamaica.
No shit.
So I have a kind of a long quote, and this is from Fred Nadis, who wrote an article for Smithsonian Magazine.
Okay.
Quote, among Leicester's early morning jottings, draft statutes frowning on murder, kidnapping, rape, robbery, and double parking on main thoroughfares during business hours.
Okay, please continue.
Okay, continuing the quote. The notes also confirm Leicester's decision to reject taxation and forbid gambling. He outlined lofty goals, such as formal requests to other governments for provisional diplomatic recognition in near future with Republic of New Atlantis, using every resource to build permanent land above water on the New Atlantis bank.
They were gonna expand.
Yes.
What?
There was an alleged constitution, of which there's only one copy that is in the Ransom Center of the University of Texas's possession, which I got some additional research from, because they have a bunch of artifacts from New Atlantis.
Right.
It was written on a typewriter and is almost a direct copy of the 7 articles of the U.S. Constitution.
Oh my God. It's like, yeah, well, you know, it's working pretty good. I guess I'll just copy paste.
Yeah. So the same day, February 2nd, 1965, the citizens of New Atlantis adopted the Constitution and elected Leicester as president.
Okay.
A couple notable people. Lady Pamela Bird was elected vice president. She was like a rich lady. Harry Truman, who is the former U.S. president, was named presidential advisor.
What?
And the election made the front page in the Kingston, Jamaica newspaper.
Oh my God.
So another quote from Fred Nadis, quote, later, to alleviate diplomatic tensions, he insisted that his 6 by 12 foot floating nation would be a, inner quote, a peaceful power and would pose no threat to Jamaica.
I mean, thank God. I'm sure they were worried.
Leicester told the New York Times that all anyone could do was, quote, walk around on it and salute the flag, all of which we would do periodically.
Just time to go back home.
I'm just imagining they're just like walking in a circle on this raft in the middle of the ocean.
Oh my God.
Just, like,
I'm imagining like, God, what movie was it that Betty White and Sandra Bullock were dancing around the fire and singing from the window to the walls?
Was it The Proposal?
Yes. Like, I'm just imagining the flag in the middle. They're like, I don't know, singing something.
He did have plans to expand the island to host lunches eventually. Okay. So you could like sit on it and have a lunch.
And salute periodically, of course.
Yes. The Republic of New Atlantis was a micronation, quote, an independent entity that lacks recognition by the international community.
Oh.
I know. So prior to creating New Atlantis, Les had chartered the International Marine Research Society in 1962. So one of his goals of New Atlantis, not just for shits and giggles, was that he wanted to, quote, support marine research and even construction of an aquarium on Jamaica.
Okay.
And the way that he was going to do this was stamps.
Okay.
He created a postage stamp for New Atlantis. Between 1964 and 1965, there were 5 different versions. Let me see if I can find the stamps. So he had 5 different versions. The stamps featured Winston Churchill, U.S. Vice President Hubert Humphrey, President Lyndon B. Johnson, the Dominican Republic, and the U.S. Army's 4th Infantry Division.
Okay.
Were all featured on his stamps. So Leicester asked if the U.S. Treasury would print his stamps and mint coins, because obviously he doesn't not have his own treasury or
right.
And the Assistant General Counsel, George Reeves, said, quote, "It is my opinion that this department would have no objection to the plans you have proposed as you describe them." So, sure.
They were going to do it, yeah.
The only requirement was that they couldn't be mistaken for legitimate currency or stamps, like from another country.
Okay.
So this is another long quote by Russell Hale for Ransom Center magazine. It just made me laugh, so I'm including this very long quote. Quote, "Leicester told several reporters that he intended to finance the International Marine Research Society with the proceeds of the stamp operation, but the revenue plan ran aground when the Swiss-based Universal Postal Union refused to recognize the legitimacy of either the stamps or their issuer. The 1964 New Atlantis stamp honoring Lyndon Johnson, protector of the entire free world, merited a thank you note from the White House, but did not help Atlantis secure diplomatic recognition."
Oh my God.
So Leicester made a stamp with Lyndon B. Johnson's face and described him on the stamp as protector of the entire free world.
Wow.
And then Lyndon B. Johnson's staff sent him a thank you note.
Thank you. That was really sweet. Sorry it didn't work out.
I know. Another quote from Fred Nadis, quote, "After Leicester sent sample stamps to the White House, a Johnson staffer returned a letter of thanks addressed to Leicester Hemingway, acting president, Republic of New Atlantis." And I have one more quote from Russell Hale. Sorry, I didn't know how else to rephrase these.
I love it.
Quote, "The mere fact that Leicester received a thank you note from the White House, supposedly addressed to him as acting president, made New Atlantis the closest a dreamer has come to official recognition, according to a 1988 interview given by the director of the U.S. Office of the Geographer."
I mean, that's pretty official.
Yeah, yeah.
You could hold it up. They said I'm real.
And Leicester gave Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson, and their daughters the honor of, quote, Order of the Golden Sand.
Order of the Golden Sand? I want Order of the Golden Sand?
I know.
I want that.
So Jamaica had no problems with the Republic of New Atlantis.
Yeah.
It, again, his, not just for fun, but his overarching goal was to help protect wildlife and the fishing industry and all of that.
I'm so here for that.
Another quote from Russell Hale, quote, "In September 1964, a spokesman for the Jamaican embassy to Washington told the New York Herald Tribune that Leicester was a decent, well-meaning soul and variously described the project as good or sound."
Okay. Let him cook, guys. Let him cook.
So the rafts did start at 6 by 12 feet. Eventually it did grow to 8 by 30 feet.
Okay.
So it did grow a little bit. Les's plan
No. Oh, no. You're already laughing.
His plan was to sink a bunch of ships in the shallow water to create enough surface area to put in a, quote, lighthouse, shortwave radio station, customs house, and post office.
What? His daughter's right. This is an environmental disaster area. Oh my God.
Unfortunately or fortunately, he would never get the chance because in 1966, the island floated away. After a storm.
What did he think was gonna happen? That engine block ain't gonna hold it. Oh, man.
I mentioned I'm crying. The Ransom Center at the University of Texas was, again, like a really big source of my research. And a woman named Mary M. Hirth, she was a librarian for the University of Texas Humanities Research Center. She heard about, this project, I guess, and like wanted to collect artifacts from New Atlantis, which Les donated. And then she had a whole exhibit of the artifacts from New Atlantis, and he went to go visit the exhibit, and you know, it was fine. So after this, Doris, his wife, was ready to buy a house. They'd been living on boats for years at this point. So Les used the last money from his book deal to buy a house in the Biscayne Bay in Miami.
Okay. Bless her. What a strong woman.
I know. He was contemplating building another island nation, but decided against it.
Yeah.
But he did continue to write newspaper articles. That was his primary way of living.
Right.
Just all kinds of different newspapers. Hillary, his daughter, said when she was young, she would go sail independently around Biscayne Bay in Miami. This is a quote from her in an interview. Quote, "Dad used to put me in a sailboat, give me a dime for the payphone, and tell me to check in when I made it to the next island."
Jesus.
I know. And she was just
bye.
all around. Yeah. In the interview, she had just been talking about how her kids have smartphones and she can track them down, and then her dad just gives her a dime and it's like, all right, don't drown. Call you when you find a payphone.
Oh my God. I bet those girls could drive a boat like nobody's freaking business.
I bet. So Hillary actually wrote her own book called Hunting with Hemingway, more about her dad. And she recalled a scenario where Les and Doris were hosting a séance, because apparently they were very into... Ernest and Les's mother was very into spiritualism, you know? And so they got really into it. And apparently during the séance, a demon was summoned.
What? No.
And it moved their piano across the room.
What?
And her sister said the book blurs the line between reality and fiction.
Okay.
So take that for what you will. But Hillary is very adamant in her description of the piano moving across the room due to a demon during a séance.
I would have been like, we're burning the house down. I hate all of this.
Right.
No.
So as Leicester, settled down, had a house, the ocean still called to him.
Right, of course.
So he actually went very frequently to the Bahamian island of Bimini, where Ernest actually had a house, or he had lived there for like 20 years prior. He flew out once a week on a propeller plane. He was there all the time. And apparently Ernest and Leicester looked very similar. And this quote is from Jason Katz for the Miami News Times. The quote, "The resemblance between them was somewhat uncanny, though. They both had beards, barrel chests, and spectacles. It was as though Les were the ghost of his brother haunting subtropical beaches."
Ooh. That's spooky, and I love it.
Yeah. I think Ernest, he definitely had a more white beard. When I was looking at pictures of them older, that's kind of how I distinguished Ernest from Leicester.
I'm literally looking it up right now.
I think in most pictures that I found, Leicester had more of like a mustache than a full beard.
They do look very similar.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. Copy and paste.
And apparently, like, so, I mean, this is kind of like several decades, just Leicester going out to Bimini, writing in the newspaper. He actually had his own newspaper called the Bimini Out Island News, and he also had a recurring column in the Miami Herald as well. So he was just writing for newspaper columns and going out to Bimini and hanging out in Miami. I didn't really see a whole lot about like what his day-to-day looked like. It seemed pretty chill.
Yeah.
He did eventually become interested in finding the real Atlantis.
Of course. That tracks.
He never got the chance. So Leicester started having like really, really bad health issues. He was diagnosed with diabetes. In 6 months, he had 5 operations.
Oh, geez. And
doctors were telling him that both of his legs would need to be amputated. So on September 13th, 1982, Leicester borrowed a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson from a neighbor and shot himself. And the research or the articles I was reading mentioned that Clarence, his father, had killed himself with the same type of gun 54 years prior.
Oh, jeez.
And Ernest also killed himself with a gun. It was a shotgun, but it was still a gun. And I think Hillary even calls it like the Hemingway method or something like that.
Yeah. Man, it's weird. I was just thinking that. I was like, that's 3. 3, the father and both the only sons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Leicester was 67 years old.
Oh my God, that's young.
Yeah. So I have a little bit about Leicester's legacy. Unfortunately, he just never got the fame that his brother Ernest did.
Right.
He seemed to always be in his shadow, which was fine with him. You know, it didn't seem like, he resented Ernest.
Right.
But his idea of an island micronation inspired people around the world, and apparently in 1981, Japanese author Hisashi Inoue wrote Kiri-Kiri-jin, which was a political satire about a small village who had seceded from Japan and became its own little mini nation. And the book became insanely popular, and about 200 small villages in Japan followed suit and declared themselves micronations.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mostly for tourism, but yeah.
Yeah.
Inspired that. And like I said, he is still deep within Ernest's shadow, and without his biography or his new Atlantis stunt, he probably wouldn't really be known at all by history.
Right. Damn.
And that's the story of Leicester Hemingway.
I mean, when in doubt, make your own country, I guess. Kind of makes it's like it was that easy. I wonder if it would still be that easy. Just go to international waters and...
I wonder if you could cite the Guano Act of 1864 or whatever. 1856. Yeah. Guano. Just be like, I'm claiming this island on behalf of the United States for guano.
Okay, let's see if it's still in effect. Yep, it's still technically in effect. Oh my God. But it has been, they don't really do that anymore because of synthetic fertilizers, but yeah, it's still there and could be used.
So I guess if you're an American citizen, if you really want to get a bird poop covered rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and no one's living there, I guess you could
Hear me
claim it
out.
for the U.S.
Hear me out. The ill-equipped island.
Just covered in
Because
it's just a rock covered in bird
Just
shit.
a rock covered in bird shit. I'll sew us a flag. It'll look like shit. It'll be covered in shit, and we can salute it every now and then.
Walk around and salute the flag.
Instead of stamps, we'll sell stickers.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my God, this is perfect.
Yes.
We'll podcast from there, and it'll be fine. Oh my God, this is perfect.
We can sell shirts. We can sell timeshares to our island.
Yes, you could come visit the island. I'll make you cookies if you come to the island.
Just be careful of the birds.
Yeah, I'll put them in a container so they don't get bird shit on them. I'll open it up like a clamshell, grab one real fast. Okay, here we go. Put like a little tent, get it like a cabana kind of a thing. And we'll drink margaritas, eat cookies, salute the flag, and sell stickers and podcast on the ill-equipped island.
And sell our bird fertilizer.
And sell the bird fertilizer. This is a foolproof plan.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll just make it like... I got it. We'll make it like a floating dock, and we'll anchor it into the ground with a chain, like they do on Norris Lake, and people can just pull their boats up to it and tie off.
There we go. It would have to be very deep because the Atlantic Ocean is very deep.
Yes, it is. How far out is neutral waters? I forgot what it's called.
How far from coast is international waters? It has to be more than 12 nautical miles or about 13.8 miles from a coastal nation's baseline.
Okay, I can do that. We could do that. I don't want to be stuck in a storm, though.
But that has to include a country's exclusive economic zone, which can extend up to 200 nautical miles from the coast.
So it depends on the country.
Yeah.
From U.S.
Can I make my own island nation? Apparently there's some modern precedents for this. I'll have to include this in the sources, but I found the CNN article.
Okay.
Titled, "They Bought a Caribbean Island to Start Their Own Country." And it looks like some people bought an island, or they have a company called Let's Buy an Island, to crowdfund the purchase of an island. And the crowdfunding raised over $250,000, and these people bought the island of Coffee Cay, a 1.2 acre uninhabited island off the coast of Belize.
Do they get to do anything with it?
I'm getting through. Apparently it's been renamed to the Principality of Islandia. It has its own flag, anthem, and government. It's the world's newest, quote-unquote, micronation. It takes just a few minutes to walk from one end of the island to another.
Oh.
It's long, thin, and vaguely shaped like a coffee bean.
Why did they not call it, like, Coffee Bean Island? I would have called it something stupid.
Well, it was called Coffee Cay.
Oh. So you're saying it's possible. Would we give up our U.S. citizenship? I don't think we
I
would.
don't know. Unless we follow what Leicester did and be like, I'm just an honorary citizen. But I can still be made president.
Yeah, but, like, we have... I mean, I wouldn't want to be... Well, I guess somebody would need to be president. What, can we make a nation without a president?
I guess there just has to be some kind of leader, maybe. I mean, maybe not. Apparently, they bought the island for $180,000 plus tax right before COVID-19. Currently, the only dwellings are tents.
Okay. People are just vibing.
Oh, in 1967, there was the Principality of Sealand, which was a World War II fighting platform off the coast of England that was declared an independent nation.
So you can just say you're a nation.
Yeah, because they're not officially recognized.
Right.
There's another one called the Republic of Uzupis, which is off of Lithuania. It has its own constitution and claims independence.
I just feel like the moment you come across something valuable, the United States is going to come scoop you up, whether you like it or not. And what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Nothing.
Well, I'll include this article in the show notes so you can read more about buying your own island. There's a lot of stuff about like investors and stuff. But currently they just kind of, the current point, I guess, is people just like come and they walk around and they barbecue and drink beer.
Sign me the fuck up. I will occasionally salute your flag for a beer.
I think eventually they want to create like a small restaurant or bar and like set up like snorkeling and stuff on the island. God, this is a long article.
I'm here for it.
Okay. So I'll include that.
We can have a bakery on ours.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so nice.
I'll cook for everyone.
Yes. All like 20 people that can fit on the island, maybe.
Yeah. It'll make it easy to cook for.
So donate to our Patreon.
Yeah, so we can buy an island.
So we can buy an island.
Yeah, the ill-equipped island. Anyone who visits will get free cookies.
Yes.
And one beer.
Beer's expensive.
Okay.
And
that's why just one. You got to pay for the rest. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
This seems right. Okay.
Shall we do socials?
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So if you like us and want to find us on our island, you can find us first at Facebook,
Ill-Equipped History Podcast Group and Page,
Instagram,
at Ill-Equipped History,
TikTok,
at Ill-Equipped History,
Gmail,
ill-equippedhistory@gmail.com,
and Patreon.
Patreon.com/ill-equippedhistory. Please help us buy our own island.
Yes, we're going to put a new tier on there, and it's like $1,000 a month, and it's going to be the island tier. And when we buy the island, you've already got a ticket. So come on down.
If you are a member of the $1,000 a month Patreon tier, you are automatically in our government.
Yes. I hope one of y'all's good at math. Because you're going to be like the treasurer, and you will get a job on our island.
Yes.
Will it be glamorous? No. Will it be an adventure? Absolutely.
Because the two of us always go on the best adventures.
Listen, if you want calamities, you found your ladies. Because we apparently can't do anything normal. So, because on the same day, Morgan's going to die of a heat stroke trying to get to a beach, and I'm caught in a literal lightning storm on a river. So, if you want a surprise every day, come hang out with us.
We're oodles of fun, y'all.
Yeah, we're so much fun. You might question it at the time. It's always funny later.
Yes.
Always.
Always. If there's one thing that we can do, it's laugh at ourselves.
I was laughing hysterically every time the thunder and lightning went off. I was like, this is insane. I'm going to die. Let me laugh about it.
She always knows how to find the humor.
Listen, most people die fighting. I'll die laughing because I don't know how else to live. So
Okay,
bye.